Dae-sung stood in the cold morning air, his hands covered in dirt and blood. The mine stretched behind him like a wound in the earth. He had been digging for 16 hours straight. His back screamed with pain, but he did not stop. Around him, hundreds of other humans worked in silence. Their faces were hollow, their eyes empty. They wore thin clothes that did nothing against the wind. The alien guards watched from their platforms high above, their weapons always ready. The guards were tall creatures with blue skin and 4 arms. They called themselves Viridians. They had come to Earth 23 years ago, and everything changed. Dae-sung remembered that day clearly. He had been a young man then, working as a military strategist. The ships appeared in the sky like falling stars. Humanity thought it was first contact, a moment of wonder. The leaders of Earth went to meet them with open arms. Within a week, those leaders were dead. Within a month, every major city was occupied. Within a year, humans were slaves. The Galactic Council ruled everything now. 47 different alien species, all united in one belief. Humans were primitive. Humans were animals. Humans existed to serve. A whistle blew across the mine. Dae-sung looked up. Commander Thalen stood on the highest platform, his 4 arms crossed. He was the overseer of this region, responsible for thousands of human workers. He spoke through a translator device that made his words sound flat and cold. "Production is down," Thalen said. "You will work 4 more hours today. No food until quotas are met." No one protested. Protesting was death. Dae-sung turned back to his digging. His hands gripped the shovel tighter. In his mind, he counted. He always counted. Days since he saw his brother. Days since he tasted real food. Days since freedom, his brother. The thought made his chest hurt. His brother had been smarter than him, braver than him. His brother had refused to dig. 2 days ago, they took him to the center of the camp. They made everyone watch. Commander Thalen himself pulled the trigger. The reason? Thought crimes. His brother had dared to say that humans deserved better. Dae-sung closed his eyes for just a moment. When he opened them, he saw Ji-woo working nearby. Ji-woo was younger, maybe 25. He had been an engineer before the occupation. Now he dug rocks like everyone else. But Dae-sung noticed things about Ji-woo. The way he studied the alien equipment. The way his eyes tracked the guard patrols. The way he scratched notes in the dirt when no one was looking. The sun set slowly. The alien guards activated bright lights that hurt human eyes. They could see in the dark, naturally. The lights were just another cruelty. Finally, after 20 hours of work, the whistle blew again. The humans were allowed to return to their barracks. Dae-sung walked with the crowd. His legs felt like stone. The barracks were long metal buildings with no heat. Inside, people collapsed onto thin mats. Some cried quietly. Most just stared at nothing. Ji-woo sat near Dae-sung. He waited until the guards passed, then leaned close. "I found something," Ji-woo whispered. His voice was so quiet Dae-sung almost missed it. "In the equipment room. Their technology. It works on principles we can understand. I think I can replicate it." Dae-sung felt a spark of something he thought was dead. Hope, but hope was dangerous. "They will kill you if they catch you," Dae-sung said. "They will kill us anyway," Ji-woo replied. "Slowly. Through work and starvation. At least this way. Maybe we can fight back." Before Dae-sung could respond, someone else approached. It was a woman named Hae-jin. She moved like a shadow, quiet and careful. Dae-sung knew her by reputation. She had been a teacher before the occupation. Now, she was something else. Something the aliens had not expected. A resistance leader. "Both of you, come with me," Hae-jin said. "There is a meeting. Underground." Dae-sung hesitated. Meetings were dangerous. But staying here, digging until his body broke, that was death too. Just slower. He nodded. They waited 2 hours until the guards changed shifts. Then Heejin led them through a crack in the barracks wall. They crawled through mud and waste, moving through tunnels that humans had dug in secret over years. Finally, they reached a chamber deep underground. 20 other people waited there, lit by a single stolen light. Heejin stood in the center. She looked at each person carefully. "We found something," she said. "Information. Smuggled from one of the diplomatic buildings. It explains why they came here. Why they enslaved us." She held up a small device, another piece of stolen alien technology. Images appeared in the air above it. Documents. Messages between the alien species. Dae-sung read them and felt his blood turn cold. The documents were economic reports. Trade agreements. Profit margins. They showed that Earth had rare elements, valuable to the galaxy. But more than that, they showed the truth. Humanity had posed no threat to anyone. The aliens could have traded peacefully. Instead, they chose slavery because it was more profitable. Every species in the Galactic Council had voted for Earth's subjugation. Every single one. Not because humans were dangerous. Not because of any principle. Simply because they could. Because exploiting Earth made them rich. One message made Dae-sung sick. It was from a Viridian official, written a year after the invasion. It said, "The humans break easily, but they breed fast. Excellent renewable resource. Recommend expanding operations." Renewable resource. That is what they called people. That is what they called his brother. "This is what we are fighting," Heejin said. Her voice was steady, but her eyes burned. "Not just oppression. Not just cruelty. We are fighting every species in the galaxy. They all agreed to this. They all profit from our pain." Someone in the crowd spoke up. "How can we fight them all? We have nothing. No weapons, no ships, no technology." Jiwoo stepped forward. "We have something they do not expect. We can learn. We can adapt. I have been studying their machines. Their principles are not that advanced. They have just had more time. But I learn fast. We all do. Humans, we are good at surviving. We are good at adapting." Heejin nodded. "We have networks in every major camp across Earth. Thousands of people ready to fight. We have been planning for years. Slowly. Carefully. They think we are broken. They think we are animals. That is their mistake." Dae-sung looked around the chamber. These people, they were thin and tired. They had been beaten and starved. But in their eyes, he saw something the aliens had missed. Rage. Pure, burning rage that had been building for 23 years. "What do you need from us?" Dae-sung asked. "Your knowledge," Heejin said to him. "You are a strategist. We need tactics. We need plans." She turned to Jiwoo. "And you? We need weapons. We need technology that can hurt them." Both men nodded. The meeting continued for an hour. They spoke in whispers about supplies, about weak points in the alien defenses, about other resistance cells across the planet. When it ended, they crawled back through the tunnels to their barracks. Dae-sung lay on his mat, unable to sleep. He thought about his brother. He thought about the documents showing how every alien species had supported their slavery. He thought about Commander Thalen and his 4 arms and his cold voice. For 23 years, humans had suffered. They had been called animals, called resources, called things. But things do not plan. Things do not learn. Things do not remember. Humans remembered everything. As Dae-sung finally drifted into exhausted sleep, one thought filled his mind. The aliens had made a terrible mistake. They had pushed humanity to the edge. They had taken everything from them. And now, with nothing left to lose, humans would show the galaxy exactly what happens when you make peaceful people desperate. The ember had been lit. Soon, it would become a fire that would burn across the stars. The underground laboratory smelled like oil and burned metal. Ji-woo worked by the light of a stolen lamp, his hands moving quickly over pieces of alien machinery. Beside him, a man named Sang-woo watched carefully. Sang-woo had been a neural scientist before the occupation. Now he studied something far more dangerous: the difference between human and alien minds. "Look at this," Sang-woo said, pointing to a screen that showed brain scans. "Human neural pathways. See how they connect? How they reorganize when learning new things? No other species in the galaxy does this." Ji-woo glanced up from his work. "What does that mean?" "It means we learn faster than them, much faster." Sang-woo pulled up another image. "I found alien medical records in a database. When a Viridian learns to pilot a ship, it takes 3 years of training. Their brains form fixed pathways. Once trained, they are excellent pilots. But if you change the ship design, they must start over." "And humans?" Ji-woo asked. "A human could learn the basics in 3 months, master it in 6, and if you change the ship? We adapt in days. Our brains rewire themselves constantly. It is called neuroplasticity. Every species has some. But humans?" Sang-woo smiled. "We have it in excess. It is probably why we survived so many disasters on Earth. Ice ages, plagues, everything. We adapted." Ji-woo looked at the alien device in his hands with new eyes. "So, I am not just smart. My brain is built to learn their technology faster than they can." "Exactly. And it is not just you. It is all of us. They think they are superior because they have better technology. But technology is just knowledge, plus time. And we can close that gap much faster than they realize." The laboratory was hidden beneath an old factory in what used to be Seoul. Hyjin's resistance network had built it over years, stealing equipment piece by piece. Now it was the heart of humanity's counterattack. Ji-woo returned to his work. He was building something new, something the aliens had never seen. He took their energy weapons and redesigned them, made them simpler, easier to manufacture with human materials, made them deadlier. Above ground, Dae-sung walked through the ruins of the city. Most buildings were destroyed or repurposed by the occupation, but some areas remained, used as storage or barracks. He wore the gray uniform of a laborer, invisible to the aliens who never looked closely at human faces. He met Hyjin at an abandoned subway station. She handed him a data pad, another stolen piece of alien technology. "Supply routes," she said. "I infiltrated their logistics network. This shows every shipment coming to Earth, every warehouse, every transport schedule." Dae-sung studied the information. His military training, dormant for so long, came rushing back. He saw patterns, weak points, opportunities. "This depot." He pointed to a location near the old city center. 3 days from now, it will receive a shipment of power cells, enough to run their weapons for a month. "Can we hit it?" Hyjin asked. "If we are fast, and if Ji-woo's weapons work." Dae-sung looked at her. "But Hyjin, this will be the start. Once we attack, they will know we are serious. There is no going back." "There was never any going back," she replied. "The moment they landed, the moment they put chains on us, war began. We were just too shocked to fight at first. But we are not shocked anymore." 4. Across the planet, other resistance cells prepared. In Africa, in Europe, in the Americas, humans had been organizing in secret for years. Now, the time had come. 3 days later, Bo-Ra stood outside the alien supply depot. She looked like any other human worker, exhausted and defeated. But in her pocket, she carried a small device that Ji-woo had built, an electromagnetic pulse generator designed to shut down alien security systems. She walked past the guards without being stopped. Humans were beneath their notice. She reached the power junction box, hidden behind supply containers, and attached the device. Then she walked away, counting steps in her mind. At exactly midnight, the device activated. Every light in the depot went dark. Every security camera stopped working. Every alarm went silent. That is when Dae-sung and his team moved in. They came from 4 directions. 50 humans, armed with Ji-Woo's weapons. The alien guards, Mandorians this time with thick gray skin and heavy builds, scrambled in the darkness. They were used to their technology working perfectly. They had no backup plans. The first shot lit up the night. A blue beam of energy that caught a Mandorian guard in the chest. He fell with a sound like thunder. The other guards tried to respond, but human weapons fired from every direction. Quick, precise, deadly. It was over in 3 minutes. 12 alien guards dead. 0 human casualties. Dae-sung could barely believe it. His hands shook as he surveyed the depot. They had won. Humans had actually won a fight. Take everything, he ordered. Weapons, supplies, vehicles. Take it all. His team moved fast, loading stolen alien trucks with equipment, power cells, weapons, body armor, communication devices. It was more than they had dared to hope for, but the greatest prize was something else. 3 alien soldiers, stunned but alive. Dae-sung looked at them, saw the confusion in their eyes. They had never expected to lose to humans. Load them too, he said. We have questions for them. News of the depot raid spread through the resistance network within hours. Other cells launched their own attacks. In Beijing, humans captured a vehicle garage. In Cairo, they destroyed a weapons factory. In Mexico City, they freed 500 slaves from a processing center. The Galactic Council received reports with disbelief. Humans? Fighting back? Impossible. General Court, a Mandorian military commander, reviewed the footage from the depot attack. He watched humans move with coordination and purpose. He watched them use weapons they should not understand. He felt something he had not felt in decades: concern. These are not random attacks, he said to his staff. This is organized. They have been planning this. They are just humans, one of his officers replied. We will crush them easily. Court was not so sure, but he said nothing. The council would not want to hear doubts. In the underground laboratory, Sang-woo examined one of the captured aliens. The Mandorian sat tied to a chair, his thick skin bruised from the fight. Hee-jin stood nearby, her arms crossed. We want information, she said in the alien's language. They had been forced to learn it over the years. Where are your command centers? What are your defense protocols? The Mandorian laughed. You think you can fight the entire council? You are insects. Pests. We will exterminate you. Bo-ra stepped forward. She had a datapad in her hands. We already have your defense protocols. We hacked your systems during the raid. But we want something else. We want to know the truth. She showed the Mandorian images. Messages from the Galactic Council archives. Trade agreements. Financial records. All the proof of why they had really come to Earth. We know you enslaved us for profit. Bo-ra said. We know every species voted for this. We found the records. Now we want to know. Did any of you feel anything? Guilt? Shame? Or did you just laugh while counting your money? The Mandorian's face changed. His eyes shifted away. Orders are orders. We were told humans were primitive. We were told you felt no real pain, no real emotion. We were told it was no different than using machines. And you believed that? Hee-jin asked quietly. We wanted to believe it, the Mandorian admitted. Sang-woo stepped closer. I want to show you something. Human brain scans. Human emotional responses. Human capacity for suffering. I want you to see what you did to creatures just as intelligent, just as feeling, as yourself. He spent an hour showing the alien scientific data. Brain scans, showing human fear, human pain, human grief. The Mandorian watched in silence. When it was over, he looked sick. "We did not know," he whispered. "You did not want to know," Daesung said from the doorway. "There is a difference." Over the next weeks, the resistance grew bolder. Ji-Woo produced more weapons. Sang-Woo trained fighters in alien technology. He-Jin coordinated attacks across multiple continents. Bo-Ra infiltrated communication networks, stealing more and more data, and Daesung planned. He studied alien tactics, alien supply lines, alien weaknesses. He learned that the Council's military was strong, but arrogant. They had not fought a real war in generations. They had forgotten how to fight an enemy that adapted, that learned, that refused to quit. The captured aliens provided more information than they realized. Small details, careless comments. Sang-Woo analyzed everything, looking for patterns. Then he found something that changed everything. "The quantum network," Sang-Woo said to the Leadership Council one night. "The aliens use it for instant communication across the galaxy. I have been studying their systems. I think I can hack into it. Not to communicate, but to listen. To intercept their messages." "Can you do it without them knowing?" He-Jin asked. "If Ji-Woo builds me the right interface, yes." It took 2 weeks. 2 weeks of careful work, of testing, of fear that they would be discovered. But finally, they succeeded. The resistance network was connected to the Galactic Council's own communication system. What they heard made their blood run cold. The Council was planning something new. Not just occupation, extermination. A vote had been called to reduce Earth's human population by 60%. Too many humans meant too much risk of rebellion. Better to kill billions now. Keep only enough for labor. The vote was scheduled for 2 weeks away. And based on intercepted messages, it would pass. Easily. Daesung read the reports in silence. Then he looked at He-Jin, at Sang-Woo, at Ji-Woo, at Bo-Ra, at all the humans who had fought so hard for the smallest chance at freedom. "We are out of time," he said. "If we wait, billions die. We have to act now. We have to hit them so hard, they cannot recover." "With what?" someone asked. "We have some weapons, some stolen vehicles. They have armies. They have warships in orbit." "Then we take the warships," Daesung said simply. Everyone stared at him. "There is a military installation," he continued. 40 kilometers from here. It has landing pads for transport ships. If we could take it, if we could capture their ships, we would have mobility. We could strike anywhere. "That is suicide," someone protested. "Everything is suicide now," He-Jin said. "But at least this way, we die fighting." The room fell silent. Then, one by one, people nodded. They had 2 weeks to prepare for the impossible. 2 weeks to turn slaves into soldiers. 2 weeks to prove that humanity would not go quietly into extermination. The aliens thought humans were broken. They were about to learn their mistake. The night before the attack, Daesung could not sleep. He sat in the underground chamber, cleaning a weapon he had taken from a dead alien. Around him, 200 humans prepared for battle. Some prayed to gods they thought had abandoned them. Others wrote letters they hoped someone would find. All of them knew this might be their last night alive. Young-Soo sat nearby, studying a holographic display of an alien starfighter. He was 28 years old and had been a racing pilot before the occupation. Now he studied alien flight systems with an intensity that bordered on obsession. "I can fly this," Young-Soo said, more to himself than anyone else. "The controls are different, but the principles are the same. Thrust, drag, lift. Physics does not change just because aliens built it. You have never actually flown one," Daesung pointed out. "I will learn fast." Young-Soo looked at him with absolute certainty. Sang-Woo was right. Our brains adapt. I have been running simulations for weeks based on stolen data. When I get in that cockpit, My mind will make the connections. I know it will. Dae-sung wanted to tell him to be careful. But Careful had died 23 years ago. Now, there was only Desperate and Bold. Mi-sun worked at a bank of computers across the chamber. She had been a mathematics professor once. Now, she was their cryptographer, the person who had cracked the alien communication codes. Her fingers flew across keys as she monitored Galactic Council transmissions. They are arguing about the vote, she said suddenly. Some species want the extermination to be public, a message to any other primitive species that might rebel. Others want it quiet. They are afraid of bad publicity. Publicity with who? Bo-Ra asked bitterly. Every species in the galaxy supported our slavery. Not every species, Mi-sun corrected. She pulled up a message. There is one. The Silvari. They abstained from the original vote. Their council member argued that subjugation was morally wrong. She was overruled, but she abstained rather than support it. One species out of 47, Heijin said. How generous. It is still one, Mi-sun replied. One voice saying, we deserved better. Maybe that matters. Maybe, Dae-sung said. But right now, we need to focus on survival. Mi-sun. What is the security status at the military base? She pulled up new information. Standard patrol patterns. They rotate guards every 6 hours. Next rotation is at dawn. That is our window. 20 minutes when the night guards are tired and the day guards are still waking up. 20 minutes to take an entire military installation, someone muttered. Impossible. We do not need to take the whole base, Dae-sung explained. Just the landing pads and the ships on them. We get in, we get out. Fast and violent. Ji-woo. Are the explosives ready? Ji-woo nodded. He had been working for days with barely any sleep. Enough to destroy their power generators and communication arrays. Once those are down, they will be deaf and blind for at least an hour. And the ships? Dae-sung turned to Young-soo. If I can get to one, I can fly it. Young-soo said with confidence that seemed insane. Dawn came too quickly. The assault team moved through the darkness, 200 humans, armed with stolen weapons and desperate courage. They wore whatever armor they could scavenge. They carried explosives Ji-woo had built from alien components. They knew the plan could fail in 100 different ways, but they also knew that in 2 weeks, the council would vote to kill billions of their people, so failure was not an option. Bo-Ra led the infiltration team. 5 humans, all trained in stealth by necessity. They had spent years sneaking past alien guards, stealing food and supplies. Now they used those skills for war. They crawled through drainage tunnels, moving beneath the base's outer walls. Bo-Ra's heart hammered in her chest. She thought about all the humans who had died in camps, all the children who would never grow up, all the futures that had been stolen. She reached the power generator station and placed Ji-woo's explosives carefully. The timer was set. 5 minutes. Above ground, Dae-sung waited with the main assault force. He checked his weapon one more time. Beside him, Heijin looked calm. Too calm. He realized she had accepted death a long time ago. Now she was just waiting to take some aliens with her. The explosion lit up the dawn sky. Thunder rolled across the military base. Every light went dark. Every alarm died in silence. Backup generators would kick in soon. But for now, the base was blind. Go! Dae-sung shouted. 200 humans rushed forward. They hit the gates with explosives, blowing them open. They poured into the base like a flood. The alien guards, mostly Viridians and Mandorians, tried to respond, but they were confused, disorganized. Their technology had failed them. The humans fought with a fury that the aliens had never seen. These were not the broken slaves from the mines. These were people with nothing left to lose and everything to avenge. Young Su ran toward the landing pads with 10 other fighters. 3 alien starfighters sat ready for patrol. Guards tried to stop them, but Jiwoo's weapons cut them down. Young Su reached the nearest ship and climbed into the cockpit. The controls were alien. Strange symbols, unfamiliar layouts. But as Sang-woo had predicted, Young Su's mind adapted. He saw patterns. He understood functions. His hands moved across the controls as if he had trained for years. The engines roared to life. Young Su felt the ship respond to his commands. It was different from human aircraft, but the same in all the ways that mattered. He understood lift and thrust. He understood momentum and vectors. The rest was just details. He lifted off, the ship rising smoothly despite being piloted by someone who had never flown it before. Below, other humans managed to start 2 more fighters. They were clumsy at first, uncertain, but they learned fast. On the ground, the battle raged. The aliens had recovered from their initial shock and were fighting back with discipline. But the humans had surprise and desperation on their side. More importantly, they had Daesung's tactics. He had divided the force into small teams that struck from multiple directions. The aliens tried to coordinate, but without their communication systems, they could only respond to what they could see. And by the time they responded, the humans were already somewhere else. Commander Thalen arrived at the base with reinforcements. He could not believe what he was seeing. Humans, primitive humans, launching a coordinated military assault, using their technology against them, winning. He activated his personal communicator, calling for orbital support. Warships in space could rain fire down on the base and end this rebellion in minutes. But his communicator was dead. Mi-sun had hacked the entire communication network. In orbit, 3 Council warships floated in standard defensive positions. Their crews monitored the planet below with casual attention. Rebellions were rare and always quickly crushed. They expected this one to be no different. Then Young Su's fighter burst through the atmosphere. The warship crews barely had time to react. The fighter moved with impossible agility, dodging their defensive fire. Young Su had never flown in space before, but his mind adapted, understanding the lack of air resistance, the way momentum worked differently. He targeted the nearest warship's weapon systems and fired. The shot was perfect. The warship's main cannon exploded in a shower of debris. Alarms blared across all 3 ships. How could a human pilot be that good? It was impossible. But humans had stopped caring about impossible. Back at the base, Daesung's forces secured the landing pads. They had suffered casualties. 30 humans dead, 50 wounded. But they had won. They had actually taken a military installation from the Galactic Council. More importantly, they had captured 11 transport ships. Ships capable of carrying troops anywhere on Earth. Maybe even to other planets. Haijin stood among the wreckage, breathing hard. She saw the dead aliens and felt nothing. No guilt, no satisfaction. Just cold purpose. Get everyone loaded, she ordered. We need to leave before reinforcements arrive. As the humans boarded the captured ships, Mi-sun worked frantically at a stolen communication terminal. She was downloading everything. Every file, every database entry, every secret the council kept. She found something that made her blood run cold. Daesung, she called out. You need to see this. He ran over. She showed him the data. It was the council's trial evidence. When they first arrived at Earth, humans had tried to negotiate. Human leaders had met with council ambassadors. The meetings had been recorded. Daesung watched the recordings. He saw human diplomats offering friendship, offering trade. He saw them show Earth's art, Earth's music, Earth's culture. He saw them prove that humans were intelligent, feeling beings. And he saw the council ambassadors laugh. They had known. From the very beginning, they had known humans were sentient. They had known humans felt pain and fear and love. They had simply not cared. The profit from exploitation was too good to pass up. One recording showed a council meeting after the first contact. A Viridian representative spoke. "They are not part of the council. They have no political protections. Their planet has resources we need. I vote for immediate occupation and workforce conversion." Every species voted yes, except one. A Silvari representative named Mira stood and spoke. "These humans have shown us their culture, their intelligence. They have committed no crime. Enslaving them is wrong." She was shouted down. The vote passed 46-0, with one abstention. 46 species looked at humanity and decided their suffering did not matter. Dae-sung felt something break inside him. He had hoped, somewhere deep down, that there was a misunderstanding, that the aliens did not know what they were doing. But they knew. They had always known. "Copy everything," he said to Mi-sun. His voice was cold as space. "Every record, every message, every vote. We are going to show the galaxy exactly what they did. And then, we are going to make them pay." The captured ships took off, humans at the controls learning to fly them in real time. Young-Su's fighter escorted them, protecting them from any pursuit. The warships in orbit tried to intercept, but Young-Su and 2 other human pilots kept them busy. It should have been impossible. 3 humans who had never flown spacecraft before, holding off experienced council pilots. But the humans learned with every second. Their minds adapted, finding better tactics, better maneuvers. They were not as experienced as the aliens, but they were learning faster than the aliens could adjust. By the time the captured transports reached safe territory, the 3 human pilots were flying like veterans. They landed at a hidden base in the mountains. As humans unloaded supplies and weapons, Dae-sung called an emergency council meeting. "We broadcast everything," he said. Mi-sun found proof that the council knew exactly what they were doing. They knew we were sentient. They enslaved us anyway. Every species is complicit. "Broadcast where?" someone asked. "Everyone," Dae-sung replied. "We hack their communication networks and broadcast to every planet in council space. Let their own people see what their governments did. Let them see humans are not animals. Let them see we are people who had families and dreams and futures. And let them see what their leaders took from us." Over the next 3 days, Mi-sun and her team worked to prepare the broadcast. They compiled footage, human art and music, human literature and philosophy, evidence of human intelligence and emotion. And then they showed the council meetings, the votes, the laughter, the casual dismissal of human suffering. They showed the camps, the mines, the executions, the starvation. 23 years of horror, documented in painful detail. The broadcast went out across the galaxy. Billions of aliens watched. Some did not care, but many did. They saw humans crying over dead children. They heard humans singing songs about hope, even in darkness. When how to business, when they listing maybe all way. They recognized something they thought only they had. Souls. The council tried to shut down the broadcast, but Mi-sun had built-in redundancies. It kept playing. On every channel, every network, every screen. For 6 hours, the galaxy saw the truth. On Earth, Dae-sung watched the reactions pour in. Many aliens condemned the broadcast as propaganda. But others started asking questions, started protesting. A few governments tried to distance themselves from the vote, claiming they had been misled. Dae-sung felt no satisfaction. It was too little, too late. "They want to exterminate us in 2 weeks," he said to his council. "We have shown them we are people. They do not care. So now we show them something else. We show them what happens when you push people too far. When you take everything from them. When you leave them with nothing to lose." He looked at each person in the room. "We are going to war. Not just against the occupation here, Against all of them. Every species that voted to enslave us. We are going to tear down their fleets, destroy their bases, and make them understand that humanity will never be slaves again. We will be outnumbered, Heejin said. Yes. We will be outgunned. Yes. Many of us will die. Yes. Daesung's voice was iron. But we will make them remember us. Every human who falls will take 10 of them down, and we will not stop until every species that voted for our slavery knows fear. Real fear. The kind we felt for 23 years. The room erupted in grim agreement. They had tried peace. They had tried mercy. The galaxy had responded with chains. Now humanity would respond with fury. Admiral Taeyang stood on the bridge of the captured Council warship. He had been a cargo ship captain before the invasion, moving goods across Earth's oceans. Now he commanded a stolen alien vessel, and Earth's fate rested on his shoulders. The ship was called Determination in human language. Its original crew had been captured in a daring raid on a repair facility. 50 aliens against 200 desperate humans. The aliens never stood a chance. Status report, Taeyang ordered. All systems operational, replied a young woman named Hae-won. She had learned alien engineering in 3 weeks, what should have taken years. Weapons charged, engines ready, navigation computed, crew positions, all stations filled with human personnel. Hae-won smiled grimly. We are as ready as we will ever be. Taeyang looked at the view screen showing space around Earth. 15 more captured warships floated nearby, each commanded by humans who had never seen space 6 months ago, each crewed by former slaves who had learned alien technology through sheer determination. It should have been impossible. But humans had stopped believing in impossible. Open channel to all ships, Taeyang ordered. The faces of 15 other captains appeared on his screen. Men and women who had lost everything, who had been beaten, starved, and broken, but who had somehow found the strength to fight back. Today we strike the Viridian homeworld, Taeyang said. Not as conquerors, not as destroyers, but as justice. The Viridians voted for our slavery. Their commander killed our people. They laughed at our suffering. Now they will learn what it means to face an enemy with nothing left to lose. End quote. There, one min noun he read. One min called with it in today. One of the captains spoke up. Admiral, we will be outnumbered. Viridian space has defense stations, patrol fleets, orbital weapons. Yes. Taeyang agreed. But they have never fought an enemy like us. They expect tactics that follow their military doctrine. We will give them human tactics. Fast, unpredictable, relentless. On the planet below, Daesung coordinated ground operations. The liberation of Earth was not complete, but the Council's grip was weakening. Every day, more camps were freed, more aliens captured or killed, more humans joining the resistance. But Daesung knew liberation was not enough. The Council still had the votes to exterminate billions. If humanity only fought defensively, they would lose. They had to take the war to the enemy. Make it too costly to continue. Break the Council's will to fight. He turned to Junseo, a specialist in psychological operations. Junseo had been a documentary filmmaker before the invasion. Now, he weaponized truth. The broadcast packages are ready, Junseo said. Once our fleet attacks, these will transmit to every Viridian communication system, civilian and military. What is in them? Daesung asked. The truth. Footage of their soldiers killing human children. Recordings of their officials laughing about our pain. Evidence that their government knew exactly what they were doing. Let the Viridian people see what their leaders did in their name. Daesung nodded. War was not just about destroying armies. It was about destroying the enemy's will to fight. If Viridian civilians saw the truth, maybe they would demand their government stop. Maybe, but Dae-sung did not count on mercy anymore. He counted on fear. The human fleet jumped to Viridian space through a captured wormhole gate. They emerged near the outer planets, far from the homeworld's heavy defenses. The Viridian patrol fleet detected them immediately. 15 unknown warships, the Viridian commander reported. Configuration matches council vessels, but they are not transmitting proper identification codes. Investigate, ordered the sector admiral. 6 Viridian warships moved to intercept. They expected criminals, maybe deserters. They found something far worse. Young Soo led the fighter screen. He flew with 20 other human pilots, all learning combat in real time. The Viridian fighters launched to meet them, confident in their superior experience. The first dogfight lasted 4 minutes. When it ended, 12 Viridian fighters were destroyed. The human pilots lost 2. The Viridian fleet commander could not understand it. How were untrained pilots flying so well? His tactical computer analyzed the human flight patterns and found no standard doctrine. The humans fought in ways that should not work, aggressive maneuvers that risked their own ships, tactics that violated every principle of safe combat. But they worked. The humans did not care about safety. They cared about winning. Every pilot knew they were already dead. The Council would exterminate humanity anyway. So why not take risks? Why not try the impossible? Taeyang's fleet struck hard. They did not try to capture ships. They destroyed them. Fast, brutal, efficient. The Viridian patrol fleet sent a distress signal before it died. All ships, plot course for the homeworld, Taeyang ordered. Maximum speed. They raced toward Viridian Prime, the heart of the Viridian Empire. Alarms blared across the planet. Citizens looked up at the sky in confusion. What was happening? The news said the human rebellion on Earth was a minor problem, easily solved. Then the broadcasts began. Jun Seo's psychological operation activated. Every screen on Viridian Prime suddenly showed the same thing. Human faces, human voices, human evidence. They saw recordings of Viridian soldiers executing human prisoners. They heard their own officials discussing profit margins from human slavery. They watched human children crying over dead parents. And they heard a simple message, spoken in perfect Viridian language. Your government told you we were animals, incapable of real thought or emotion. They lied. We are people. We have families. We have dreams. We feel pain, just like you. And your leaders knew this. They enslaved us anyway because it was profitable. Now we are coming. Not to conquer you, but to make you pay for what you supported. The message ended with footage of the approaching human fleet. Panic spread across Viridian Prime. Civilians flooded communication networks demanding answers. How could this be true? How could their government do such things? The Viridian military scrambled to respond. Defense stations powered up. Orbital weapon platforms activated. The home fleet, 50 warships strong, moved to defensive positions. 50 against 15. The odds were clear. But Dae-sung had not sent just 15 ships. He had sent a message. A promise. Touch us, and we touch you. Enslave us, and we come for you. There is nowhere far enough. Nowhere safe enough. The battle for Viridian Prime began at dawn. The human fleet did not engage the main defensive fleet. Instead, they targeted military infrastructure, shipyards, supply depots, communication arrays. They struck fast, destroyed their targets, and moved before the heavier Viridian ships could respond. Young Soo's fighters protected the warships, engaging enemy interceptors in brutal dogfights. His squadron moved like a single organism, each pilot covering the others, learning from every exchange. The Viridian pilots fought with skill earned over years. But the humans fought with desperation earned over 23 years of suffering. Taeyang watched the battle unfold with cold precision. Every target destroyed was a calculation. Not maximum damage, maximum fear. He wanted the Viridians to feel what humans felt: helplessness, terror, the knowledge that someone stronger could hurt you and you could do nothing to stop it. "Admiral, we are receiving a transmission from the Viridian government," Hay-1 reported. "Put it through." A Viridian official appeared on screen. His 4 arms were raised in a gesture of peace. "Please, stop this attack. We can negotiate. We can discuss terms." "Like you discussed terms with Earth?" Taeyang replied coldly. "When human diplomats came to you with friendship, and you voted to enslave them? Those negotiations?" Quote, "That was different. That was profitable," Taeyang interrupted. "Convenient? Easy? It does not matter. You had a choice. Every species in the Council had a choice. You chose slavery. You chose to treat sentient beings as resources. Now, you pay the price. We will fight back. We will destroy you. Try." Taeyang cut the transmission. The human fleet continued its surgical strikes. They did not target civilian areas, did not bomb cities. They were not monsters. But they destroyed every military facility they could reach, crippled the Viridian war machine with brutal efficiency. After 6 hours, they disengaged and jumped away. The battle was over. 50 Viridian warships had been unable to stop 15 human ships. The Viridian military had been humiliated in front of their own people. More importantly, the Viridians now knew fear. Across the galaxy, other Council species watched the news in shock. The Viridians were a major military power. If humans could hurt them so badly, no one was safe. On Earth, Daesung received the battle reports with satisfaction. The attack had worked perfectly. But it was just the beginning. "Who is next?" Heijin asked. "The Mandorians," Daesung replied. "They provided the most occupation troops. They were the most brutal. They pay next." But before the fleet could strike again, something unexpected happened. A small ship appeared in Earth orbit, broadcasting a diplomatic signal. It was a Silvari vessel. Bo-Ra monitored the transmission. "They are asking for a meeting. They say they have important information. It could be a trick," someone warned. "Everything is a trick," Daesung replied. "But we hear them out. If nothing else, we learn something." The Silvari ship landed at a human-controlled base. One delegate emerged. Her name was Counselor Mira. She was the one who had abstained from the vote to enslave humanity. Daesung met her in a simple room. No guards, just 2 people talking. "Why are you here?" Daesung asked. "To warn you," Mira replied. "The Council is preparing a massive military response. They are gathering ships from every species. 300 warships. They will exterminate humanity completely. We expected that. No, you do not understand." Mira leaned forward. "They are not planning to fight you. They are planning to destroy Earth, completely. Turn your entire planet into dust. Remove you from existence so thoroughly that no other species ever thinks of rebelling." Daesung felt cold rage settle in his chest. "When?" 3 months. Maybe less. They are moving slowly because they argue about who leads the fleet. But they will. Come. And you tell us this because? Because what the Council did to humanity was wrong, Mira said simply. "I spoke against it then. I speak against extermination now, but I am one voice among 47. I cannot stop them. Maybe you can. You want us to what? Sue for peace? Surrender? No." Mira's eyes were hard. "I want you to win. I want you to break the Council so completely that no species ever tries this again. What they did to you, they have discussed doing to others. Primitive species, without political protection. You are not the first they considered. Just the first they acted on." Daesung studied her carefully. "Why should I trust you? Because I am risking everything to be here. If the Council discovers I warned you, they will execute me for treason. I do this because some things matter more than safety. Justice matters. Truth matters. You matter. For the first time in years, Dae-sung felt something like hope. One species, however small, recognized humanity's worth. One voice had spoken for them, but one voice was not enough. "Thank you for the warning," Dae-sung said. "But we do not want mercy from the Council. We do not want recognition. We want them to pay. Every species that voted to enslave us, every official who profited from our suffering, every soldier who killed our people, they all pay. End on. That is war without end," Mira warned. "Then so be it." Dae-sung stood. "We lived in chains for 23 years. We died in camps and mines. Our children grew up never knowing freedom. If we must burn the galaxy to ash, to make sure it never happens again, we will." Mira stood as well. "Then let me help you. My species has resources, ships, weapons, intelligence. We cannot fight openly, but we can supply you secretly," Dae-sung considered. "An ally, even a secret one, could make a difference. What do you want in return? When you win?" Mira said. "And I believe you will. Remember that not every species supported this. Remember that some of us tried to stop it. Build a better galaxy than the one the Council created. If we win," Dae-sung corrected. And that is still a big if, but even as he said it, he thought about the victories so far. The captured ships, the raids, the battle at Viridian Prime. Humans learning alien technology faster than anyone thought possible. Humans adapting to warfare with terrifying speed. Maybe they could win. And if they won, the galaxy would never be the same. The siege of Capital Prime lasted 3 days. 3 days that changed the galaxy forever. Capital Prime was the heart of the Galactic Council, a massive space station orbiting a neutron star. It was built to be impregnable. Shields that could withstand stellar radiation, weapons that could destroy fleets. Defenses designed by the combined genius of 47 species over 300 years. Humanity attacked it anyway. Admiral Taeyang commanded the assault fleet. 60 warships now, all captured or built from stolen technology. Behind him came transport ships filled with ground troops, 20,000 humans ready to storm the Council's seat of power. They should have had no chance. The Council's defensive fleet numbered over 100 ships. The station itself had firepower equivalent to a small fleet. Every tactical computer in the galaxy gave humanity 0 probability of success. The computers had not accounted for 6 months of continuous warfare. 6 months of humans learning, adapting, and evolving their tactics faster than any species thought possible. Young-Soo led the fighter screen. He had trained 200 pilots personally. They flew in formations that made no sense by Council standards but worked perfectly for humans. Aggressive, unpredictable, willing to trade their lives for enemy kills. The battle began at the outer defense perimeter. Council ships moved to intercept in textbook formations. Efficient, disciplined, predictable. Taeyang smiled. Predictable was death. His fleet split into 3 groups that attacked from impossible angles. Ships dove through radiation fields that should have killed them. Humans survived long enough to fire, to destroy, to move on. The Council fleet tried to adapt, but they thought in terms of acceptable casualties and proper doctrine. The humans thought in terms of winning at any cost. On Earth, Dae-sung monitored the battle through stolen communication arrays. The planet was fully liberated now. Every alien occupation force was dead or captured. Humans controlled their own world for the first time in 23 years. But liberation meant nothing if the Council still existed to threaten them. "Sir, we are getting reports from across the galaxy," Misun said. 23 species have had their military capabilities completely destroyed. 15 more are negotiating surrenders. The Council is collapsing. And the others? Dae-sung asked. Still fighting. The Mandorians refuse to surrender. They are calling humanity demons. Monsters. They say they will fight to extinction, rather than submit. Then they get extinction, Daesung said coldly. He thought about the Mandorians. They had been the most brutal occupiers. Their troops had killed his brother, had killed millions. They showed no mercy then. They would receive none now. Sang-woo entered the command center. The scientist looked exhausted but triumphant. I completed the analysis. Human neural adaptation is accelerating. We are not just learning faster than other species. We are learning how to learn faster. Each generation of human pilots is twice as skilled as the last. Each generation of engineers masters technology in half the time. How is that possible? Hee-jin asked. Evolutionary pressure, Sang-woo explained. For 23 years, only the smartest, most adaptable humans survived the camps. We essentially bred ourselves for this war. And now that pressure is creating a feedback loop. We are becoming something the galaxy has never seen before. What do we call it? Someone asked. Humanity Unchained. Sang-woo said simply. At Capital Prime, Taeyong's forces broke through the outer defenses. It had cost them 20 ships, 20 crews dead. But the path was clear. All ships. Prepare for station assault, Taeyong ordered. Marines. Ready for boarding action. The transport ships moved forward. Council defenders fired everything they had. Energy beams, missiles, particle cannons. Space lit up like a sun. Human ships died. But more kept coming. The transports crashed into the station's docking bays. Airlocks exploded. 20,000 human soldiers poured into Capital Prime. The Council had security forces. Trained warriors from a dozen species. They had better weapons, better armor, better training. They still lost. The humans fought with a fury that the galaxy had forgotten was possible. They did not take prisoners. They did not show mercy. They remembered 23 years of slavery, and they collected payment in blood. Hee-jin led the assault on the council chamber itself. She moved through the station's corridors, like death incarnate. Behind her came soldiers who had lost everything. Parents who had watched their children die in camps. Children who had grown up in chains. They were not an army. They were a reckoning. The council security made a final stand at the chamber doors. 300 elite guards against 2,000 human soldiers. The guards fought bravely. They died completely. The doors fell. Hee-jin walked into the council chamber, her weapon ready. Inside, the council members waited. 47 species, the rulers of the galaxy. Speaker Veloth stood at the center. He was an ancient archon, a species that had led the council for centuries. His kind lived for 1,000 years and considered themselves the wisest beings in existence. You cannot do this, Veloth said. His voice shook despite his attempts at control. We are the council. We maintain order in the galaxy. Without us, there is chaos. You created chaos when you enslaved us, Hee-jin replied. You murdered billions of humans. You destroyed our future. Now you face justice. We are protected by council law. Your laws did not protect us. Hee-jin raised her weapon. Why should they protect you? But before she could fire, Daesung's voice came through her communicator. Hee-jin lowered her weapon slowly. Why? Because the galaxy needs to see. Needs to understand. We do not kill them in darkness. We try them in light. Just like they should have done for us. We do not kill them in darkness. So the council members were captured. All 47 species representatives. They were placed in holding cells and guarded by humans who had every reason to let them accidentally die. But the humans controlled their rage. Barely. Over the next weeks, the trial of the Galactic Council became the most watched event in the galaxy's history. It was broadcast to every inhabited world. Billions of beings watched as humanity presented its case. Bora served as prosecutor. She stood before the captured council members and presented evidence. Recordings of the initial vote to enslave humanity. Communications showing they knew humans were sentient. Financial records proving they profited from human suffering. Testimony from freed human slaves, describing torture, starvation, and death. The evidence filled 80,000 hours. Some species in the galaxy refused to watch, but many did, and they could not deny what they saw. Speaker Veloth was called to testify. Dae-sung questioned him personally. Did you know humans were sentient when you voted for our enslavement? We believed you were primitive, Veloth replied. That was not the question. Did you know we could think, feel, suffer? Veloth hesitated. Yes. Then why? Why enslave beings you knew could suffer? Because you had no political standing. You were not part of the council. By our laws, you had no protections. So might makes right? Dae-sung asked. The strong can do whatever they want to the weak? That is how the galaxy has always worked. Then the galaxy was broken, Dae-sung said. The trial took 3 months. In that time, humanity consolidated its victories. The Mandorian homeworld was occupied. Their military dissolved. Their industrial capacity dismantled. They were reduced to pre-space flight technology, their weapons destroyed, their threat eliminated. 15 other species that refused surrender met similar fates. Humanity did not conquer them, did not rule them, just removed their ability to ever threaten anyone again. Other species, seeing the pattern, surrendered. They agreed to humanity's terms. Complete demilitarization. Reparations paid for 200 years. Human oversight councils to ensure compliance. Technology sharing without restrictions. The Silveri, true to Counselor Mira's word, became humanity's first true allies. They had opposed the enslavement from the start. Now, they helped rebuild what the council had destroyed. When the trial ended, the council members were sentenced, not to death. Death was too easy. They would live in the same conditions they forced on humans. Labor camps, minimal food, constant work. They would experience exactly what they inflicted. It was meant to last 10 years. Most of them did not survive, too. 50 years later, Earth had changed beyond recognition. Admiral Taeyang, now elderly, stood in a garden on Earth. Around him, young humans played. They had never known slavery, never known chains. They grew up free in a galaxy that had learned to fear and respect humanity. Young Su trained new pilots at the academy. He told them stories of the war, not to glorify it, but to remind them what freedom cost. Mi-sun ran the memorial archives, a massive structure holding the names of 3,700,000,000 humans who died during the occupation. Every name recorded, every life remembered. She made sure no human forgot. Made sure no alien forgot either. Bo-Ra, her hair white with age, taught courses on justice and law. She worked with other species to create new council laws, laws that protected all sentient beings, laws that made slavery, genocide, and exploitation illegal across the galaxy. But enforcement fell to humanity now. They had the largest fleet, the most advanced technology. Other species had centuries of knowledge, but humans had adaptation. They mastered any technology given enough time. Tae-sung walked through the memorial one evening. His legs were weak now, his body failing. But his mind remained sharp. He stopped at his brother's name, carved in stone along with billions of others. We won, he whispered. We survived. We made them pay. Ace, Ron, Era. But the victory felt hollow sometimes. So many dead, so much suffering. Could anything truly balance that scale? A young human approached him, maybe 12 years old. She had been studying the memorial for a school project. Sir, were you there? During the war? Dae-sung nodded. I was. Was it worth it? All the fighting and dying? He thought carefully before answering. We did not want war. We wanted to join the galaxy as friends. They made us into warriors instead. Was it worth it? I do not know. But I know this. You are free. Your generation will never wear chains. The girl nodded and walked away. Daesung watched her go. She moved without fear, without the haunted look that his generation could never quite lose. Maybe that was enough. Maybe that was what they had fought for. A future where humans did not live in terror. The galaxy was different now. The old council was gone. A new one had formed, this time with humanity as a leading voice. The laws were better, fairer, enforced by humans who remembered what happened when laws failed to protect the weak, but some species still resented human dominance. Still whispered that humanity was too aggressive, too unforgiving, that they had gone too far in their revenge. Daesung heard these whispers and felt no guilt. The council had made humanity into something dangerous. That was not humanity's fault. That was the lesson. Push people far enough, and they will push back harder than you can imagine. A memorial stood in the center of the new council station, a simple monument with words in every galactic language. Remember Earth. Remember what happens when compassion fails. Remember that all sentient beings deserve dignity, freedom, and protection. Remember that victims can become victors. And remember that some wounds never fully heal. Below that, in smaller letters, we did not want to be warriors. You gave us no choice. Daesung returned home as the sun set. Heejin waited there. They had built a life together after the war. Quiet. Simple. Nothing like the fury of those terrible years. Do you think they learned? She asked. The other species. Some did, Daesung replied. Some never will. But they know now. They know what happens when you enslave people, when you take everything from them. They create people like us, people who will burn the galaxy rather than wear chains again. And if someone forgets, tries again? Daesung looked at the sky. Somewhere up there, human warships patrolled. Human soldiers stood guard. Human oversight councils ensured laws were followed. Then we remind them, he said simply. We are humanity. We remember. We always remember. And we will never, ever, be victims again. The galaxy had learned a hard lesson. A lesson written in blood and fire across 100 worlds. Humanity had wanted to join the stars as friends. The council made them into something far more dangerous. Survivors, victors, guardians, and nightmares for anyone who forgot what happened when you pushed humans too far. The future was uncertain. But one thing was clear. Humanity had earned its place in the galaxy. Not through kindness or diplomacy. Through strength. Through fury. Through the willingness to fight when fighting was the only option left. They did not celebrate that victory. They mourned what it cost. But they never regretted it. Because freedom, once lost and regained, becomes precious beyond measure. And humanity would defend that freedom against any threat, any species, any power. The galaxy was at peace. But it was a peace built on memory. Memory of what humans suffered. Memory of what humans did in response. And everyone, from the smallest world to the greatest empire, understood one simple truth. Never again would anyone dare to chain humanity. Because humanity had proven exactly what happened to those who tried. The cost was too high. The price was extinction. Earth had survived. Humanity had survived. And the galaxy would never forget the species that supported Earth's oppression and faced the fury that followed. History would remember this era by a simple name, the Reckoning. And the galaxy learned to fear the species that emerged from slavery, not broken, but stronger than ever before. Humanity unchained. Humanity unbound. Humanity unforgiving. The end.